ฝากกดติดตามและกดไลค์กดแชร์ CBN Thailand
This new study from Lifeway Research shows most churchgoers in the United States don't often switch churches, but sometimes it's necessary, whether it's moving to a new neighborhood or city or some other reason.
I think after churches opened back up, we of course went back to church, and I just began to feel really like I needed something more.
Heather and Norm Edwards began to feel a disconnect attending a big church in the nation's capital.
I saw this at the church where we were on staff, and I see it at other larger churches where you literally can walk in, walk past everybody, and there's good, hey, welcome home, good morning. There's a lot of that, and it's kind and it's nice and the intentions are good, but you literally can go to your seat, not get to talk to anybody, go through the very professional, very well buttoned up service, both worship and message. And then there's a prayer and you walk out and you file out and it's say, thanks for coming. And you really haven't talked to anybody and you're just going straight home and that's it.
After COVID, they wanted more community and something smaller. They also wanted sermons with deeper spiritual meaning and not as topical.
We do surveys on the church and the culture with the desire to inform church leaders of what's happening and so that they can make better informed ministry decisions.
The Lifeway study shows 40% of these church switchers are like Heather and Norm, who change for reasons other than moving locations. Of this group, researchers found 3 major takeaways. Either something changed about the church they didn't like, the church didn't fulfill their needs, or respondents became disenchanted with the pastor or the church.
And when we dug into the reasons behind that disenchantment, what we find is some of the accusations we've probably heard in other settings that the church was judgmental, the church was hypocritical, sometimes pointing at the pastor not being a good preacher.
Executive Director Scott McConnell says the data reveals an opportunity for churches to think about their approach and be more outward focused.
So I've been serving as a pastor altogether now about 7 years, and I'm really grateful for the call to serve God in this way.
Pastor Alex Young leads Crossroads Presbyterian in Northern Virginia. When asked what he sees, Young says it usually comes down to 3 categories. Drift, Christians leaving churches that no longer follow the Bible. Disinterest, people losing their faith and leaving. Or disagreement, Christians leaving one church for another. He sees this as the most common.
All Christians, I think, hold those same core beliefs in common, but on these secondary issues, there's disagreement.
Those issues being things like baptism, church government, interpretation of certain scriptures, and others.
I think church is about community. It's about doing this life together. So we're encouraging each other, holding each other accountable. We're there for each other. And we didn't really have that in that bigger setting.
Heather and Norm now attend a smaller church in Northern Virginia they say is a great